I don't require. Namaste. I am presenting in the next few minutes a subject which has intrigued me and for which I have spent some 2-3 years looking deep in some in depth about a few concepts in Vedanta which seem to be inextricably connected. And these three, karma, and with particular aspect of karma yoga, then rebirth or reincarnation, and free will. The free will, because free will is a universal subject debated for a number of years. Have we got free will? That is this question. Now we'll go into some details on this and see their interconnection and their impact on day-to-day life. It's not working. What happens? Now it's going?
Yes.
No. This one. Oh, the other one. Yes. Okay. Now, first, have we got free will? Common sense tells us that we have a free will. I can go and say, excuse me, treat it as presented and sit down. But can I really do it? Science says no. Everything is predetermined. Ever since the Big Bang occurred, events are connected like this and evolving, and we have no will whatsoever. This is depending on which scientist you ask. Physicists are unanimous about it. Psychologists think, psychiatrists think that there may be some free will. They are divided. Molecular biologists say this is all result of evolution. You have no free will. Your genes and your environment, your bringing up determines everything. And so this is a very fascinating subject. Now let's see. My question was, what is the Vedantic take on this? What does Vedanta say? Because Vedanta is very advanced thinking. They didn't have science, but they had instinct, thinking, and knew real answers which are eternal almost. Let's see. If I can speak like this. Don't worry. Yeah. Now, what does science say? Science, can you give me this? The mic? I have to move a little nearer. Yeah. Science says, what science says, it depends on which scientist you ask. I already covered that. Yeah. Now go to the voice of the topmost physicists in the world. Einstein said, I don't believe we have any free will. He quoted Schopenhauer that he said that, you can read this?
Yes.
Yes. Man can do what he wants, but he cannot will what he wants. In other words, he said that we have no free will helps me because I can keep my temper of what others do. Max Planck, who is the father of quantum theory, he had no doubt at all about this subject. He was so emphatic that the assumption of an absolute determinism is the basis or essential foundation of every scientific thought. In other words, everything is predetermined. The one today, to 20th century, 21st century, Stephen Hawking, who replaced as leader of physical sciences Einstein, he said it would seem that everything in the universe is determined by evolution according to the laws of science, and it's difficult to see how we can be masters of our own will. Neurological experiments proved this. In the 1980s at Princeton University, Libet carried out he wired the brain took electroencephalogram, yes, electroencephalogram, and then there was a simple device where volunteers were asked to press a blue button or a red button. And then she said, when we give the signal, think about what you choose and then press it. And accordingly, all the volunteers pressed. And then they found that the decision of what button to press was predated the event by several seconds. In other words, no matter what you said, he was going to press the red button. How does this happen? Because events, it's a subconscious process where you come to a conclusion, and that's the results of all that have gone in your life. Your birth, your chromosomes, on all your forefathers, your training, and everything. So it seems that everything is predetermined. Leibert's findings were further investigated by very modern fMRI, single beam oscilloscope. And that also said even greater gaps, the greater gaps by which decision was made when the person was not aware of what the decision is, like this. These experiments suggest that decisions are made subconsciously, challenging the traditional views on free will. The evidence indicates that various decisions might be predetermined by unconscious or subconscious processes. Now let's see what our religions say. Buddha rejected both predetermination as well as free will. He said you should prepare your mind by austerity so that you can do some righteous things. And Jainism believes in karma, but it also says that with good actions, you can almost exceed it. Sikhism revised the concept of karma by emphasizing the individual efforts for self-improvement and taking responsibility for one's action. It is also introduced the idea of karma can be altered through prayer and God's will. Now, if you go to the free will in religions, you will find that in Hinduism, we believe in free will, but in a very nuanced way. We'll come to that a little later. Free will, yes, so long as Catholicism is concerned. Free will, yes, as well as Jews are concerned. And Islam says also there is a free will. So thus there is a huge controversy, and we have not come to any conclusion over centuries of debate. So that is why we are going into what the Hinduism really says, or ancient Indian wisdom really says. Now, let's begin what Vedanta takes. The Vedantic view, we first believe that all our actions are the sum total of what amount of sattva, raja, or tamas you have got. We have combinations of various proportions. Some are more sattvic, but there is still a core of rajas. Most of us do not have much tamas, which depends on doing only evil things and getting pleasure out of others' pain. Rajas is the most common element whereby we drive our drives, our career concerns, or concerns for wealth and family. All these are rajasic. And then the only progress is possible, as Gita says, sattva sanchaya. You have to have more and more of sattva, and that opens doors for upwards and inward journey, so that ultimately you end up in a blissful state. Samadhi, and that is the end of it. All right. Then, in this sense, the combination of sattva, raja, and tamas determines what we do. If What Arjuna did was his nervous breakdown, and then what Krishna says, you have to overcome it. You are a wonderful warrior, but you have to have karma yoga. So tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. And that's how your best can be done. And it's applicable to every one of us. Maybe you're a student, you're an engineer or a doctor, and you have to do karma yoga. That means you have to reach, first of all, your highest potential. And then you have to say, without any limit of expectation from any of results from what I do, I'm giving it for the greater good of the greater numbers. And that is really karma yoga. Okay. And with some of these determinations, first of all, Gita goes to say that you cannot escape karma. In other words, it almost speaks the language of physics. Here it is. The one stoka is Sadrasyam cheshtate swasya prakrite jnanamanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraham kim karishyati. That means, you will, according to your nature, you are going to act. What does your discipline do? That means we are subject to free will. No subject to free will. You have no free will. Everything is determined. If I am tamasi, I am going to do tamas action. If I am rajasi, I will go after medical, material beings, wants, aims, objectives. And if I am sattvic, then of course I will go towards this. All right. There is much more depth. This another says, Prakrite kriyamanani guna karmani sarvata ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti vityate. Actually Prakriti drives you for all kinds of actions, and only a foolish man says aham karta. And therefore, the secret of going up is nahan karta harik karta. That's what we should. God is provoking me to do these things. Okay. Now, this is the part of research. How does it work? How do we make progress if everything is predetermined? This is what is borne by Vedic studies, that, can I hold it? This is sattva. The characteristic of sattva is urdhanga chandi satyastha. That means Prakriti sattva takes you upward path. Madhye tishtanti rajasa. Linear path is just like going around punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, and punarapi paschat, like Shankaracharya says. There is no escape. You go, you are born, you are sleepwalking all the time. Okay, I'm coming to. Very good. Okay. Then tamasa, their drive is only towards pain, inflicting pain, quarrel, ignorance, and so on. And so all this has to be kept in mind before you come. But the point is, each one of us has a little datta swatantra. That's the beauty of the theory of karma. If you are sattvic, you can make further sattva sanchaya. If you are rajas, you can transit from rajasa to sattva. Or you can go other way also. That much will God has given us. And that modicum of free will determines everything, whether you are going to reach your highest potential, or you remain what you are, or whether you will go down to the lowest possible potential in your life. That's the beauty of Vedanta. In other words, to some extent, what we achieve, to some extent, I cannot hope to be let's say, a president of United States, but I can become a very healthy old man by exercising my Goldman. So that is the gist of Vedanta. And it's really fascinating. The next subject that we are going to touch here is the golden. This requires, now you will ask, why do you say so? And here it says, while predetermination is preeminent, you can change your karma. How? By this sattva sanchaya. All right. Where is that written? He says, look, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Vedas talk about sattva, raja, tamo guna. Arjuna, you have to go beyond that. Transcend them. He says, Traigunya Vishayo Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. And how do you do that? By 4 means. Nirdvando. Forget all this. I'm good, bad, I'm rich and I'm poor, and this is desirable, this is undesirable. These are called dvandvas. Transcend them. And then Nitya Sattvasto. All the time do sattvic things that adds to your, it permits you to transit from one category to another category. And then what else? Niryoga. Forget accumulating money. Money cannot buy this. None of these material beings will make a difference. And Niryoga Kshema Atman. Understand first of all yourself. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? And that helps to cross the border. Yes. What of rebirth? Rebirth follows that the body perishes, but the soul is permanent. If the soul is permanent, it is going to manifest again. So rebirth, without rebirth, it cannot manifest itself. So therefore, they say, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. That means death and birth are merely events. And it is impermanent, his body, but the soul has got long to go. Bahunam janmanam ante, you will reach me. And that is some of the insights of this. Thank you.